What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We out here for another episode of This Raw Life, a small little hobby podcast bringing together sports, military, and life fanatics for a couple minutes of who knows what gets shared. Today's episode, we invite Mr. Sebastian Mallette, musician, scholar, multi-sport athlete, father, and just stand by because that list just keeps on going. Now, in case you're wondering what the Fox is, I'm not even going to keep that one going because that died way too long ago. So crank that shit up because we're still figuring out the audio, and I hope you enjoy who we brought on today. Cheers.
What's up, everyone? It is your host, Nathan, again, and Uncle Ivan, Cousin Ivan. And we're joined by Mr. Seb Mallette, a musician from Ottawa, one of our goalies for the men's national team, for the military soccer national team. We all met last December for a triangular tournament in Ireland, and we are all still grinding to this day, playing soccer nonstop, family commitments for some of us, or, work commitments. But Seb, how about you start us off right now and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're doing, where you're going.
So I'm originally from Timmins, Ontario, but I currently live in Ottawa, and I am a full-time military musician with the Central Band of the Canadian Armed Forces. And I'm also a soccer goalkeeper and a father. And lots of things happening.
Okay.
So
right
Seb, let's dive deep into your career. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself. When did you join the military? What got you into music? And I also hear you also have a Spotify channel that we can follow. So please tell us more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can get into that. So that's a big one to unpack, music and the military. So I actually went through cadets as a teen in high school, and I liked it. I liked the drill, that sort of military culture. It was sort of an introduction to it, and I was in air cadets. I was super into planes. I actually at one point wanted to go into aeronautics engineering, and and then I found out that you could pursue music post-secondary. So I went from really wanting to do engineering to completely shifting that around and focusing on music. So then when I went into music, I sort of, the idea of joining the military kind of went on the back burner. And so I really focused on my studies in my undergrad at Western University in London, and then I did a master's at the University of Cincinnati in the U.S. So it was actually during my master's that
5 years.
Four years at Western, and then 2 years in Cincinnati.
Oh, that's a lot of schooling, man.
Yeah,
that's a lot of music. Woo.
Yeah, so it was actually while I was in Cincinnati that I was inspired to look at the military again, because over there, their bands, like joining the military band as a professional musician is a huge deal. Like it's very highly regarded.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, seeing some of my colleagues winning jobs, winning auditions with some full-time military bands there, I was like, geez, I should look into back home, see if there's something like that for me. And sure enough, when I looked into it, they were hiring bassoon players, and I auditioned and basically never looked back. Never looked back since then.
And now you said bassoon player specifically, like that's your main instrument. Do you have?
Yeah, that is my instrument.
Yeah,
not necessarily. Like it is an asset if you can play multiple instruments, but the audition process is really focused on one instrument, because everybody has to play their instrument at a very high level. So most of my colleagues have a Bachelor of Music Performance, if not a Master's in Music Performance on their instrument. So it's a very high level. coming from the orchestra world while I was in school, I would try to perform with a lot of orchestras, and that was really where my focus was before Cincinnati. I can tell you that the level of musicianship is just as high with my military colleagues as it was with professional orchestras in the city world.
I know some of the guys from our unit, like, they literally have to do tryouts to make the band. Like, is that something similar that you guys have as well, Seb?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we have a whole audition process that's separate from the recruiting process. You have to actually...
No way.
Yeah, it's basically like you have several steps to do before you can even go on to the military application part of things.
No way, that's pretty cool.
So you have
and
to.
That gives me more respect for the band. Like, it's not that easy. Like, it's hard. You have to master your instrument.
Yeah, so we have to submit an audio tape of I think it's like 15 to 30 minutes of like solo recording, and
Wow.
and then from there they either invite you for a live audition or they don't. So then that's phase one. So then when you get invited for the live audition, that's phase two. And so if you pass that live audition, which is there's a lot of stuff to do. There's solo playing. There's playing within the band, like you're mic'd and they're listening to you specifically while you're playing. Then you have to play with a smaller group as well. When I did it, there was a theory exam and an ear training exam as part of the audition. It was a full day thing with an interview and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's phase two. And then phase three is the recruitment process that we all know. So like the aptitude tests, the medical, all that stuff.
So, I mean, that's pretty tough. Do you find that a lot of people get turned away because it's such a difficult process?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of musicians get turned away in the audition process. And I have colleagues that did 2 or 3 rounds to try and get in, and they finally got it on the second or third audition.
Do you have a second instrument or a third instrument? Like a top 2, top 3? Or just your bassoon and that's it, that's all?
In the band, I only really play bassoon. I'm not at a level to play any other of the instruments and keep up. But I do play an instrument called the contrabassoon, which is like the bassoon, but it plays lower. Think of it like a
lower tone,
like kind of like a tuba, like really down low.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a similar playing technique. And but that's rare that I will play that instrument, but that would be another instrument that I'm proficient enough on to play with the band.
Yeah, for sure. And how long have you actually been in the military band now? How long has it been?
I was posted to the Central Band in December 2020. So when I right in the heat of the pandemic. I had just finished basic training in Saint-Jean.
Yeah.
That was an experience on its own. Like doing it through COVID, we,
that's a whole new episode.
24/7. Yeah.
Do you have a most memorable performance since you've joined in the last 4 years, I guess, or 3.5 years since you got in? One that really stood out? Really gave you the goosebumps, the chills?
I've had a few. But I have to say one of the most special ones was when we did the funeral procession for the Queen here in Ottawa. So we did, they did the official parade in London, England, but we did one as well in Ottawa with a huge band with the pipes and drums as well. And it was massive. I think we were over 70 in the marching band. 7 wide, like just picture that marching down the street in Ottawa. So that was really like talk about giving you goosebumps. Like that was special. And actually, we just did another one for the funeral procession of Brian Mulrooney a couple days ago on Saturday. And that was memorable for different reasons, because it was minus 14 with the wind chill and basically a blizzard. And we were out there marching. So, you know, it's pretty special what we do, you know, compared to a lot of professional musicians. Yeah, we're not always playing, you know, extremely technical music, but no other stream of professional musician is going to be out there in the winter playing their instrument, marching out on the street. So,
your dexterity still there? Like, do you? Very much.
Well, we're allowed to wear gloves when we do that, with like cut off fingers. Yeah. My instrument has holes that you need to plug. So if you're wearing a glove, it won't seal. So I do have to have the fingers exposed. And some of those fingers were going completely numb.
Yeah, I bet.
But again, it's like, because of the significance of the event, it's a really special experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. Then now you said, yeah, you were at this event. Like, that event's going down in history too, right?
Yeah.
So now, that audition... Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Now, you had a performance where you had like a really quick change of events, or maybe like you guys had to go off track and off record, and like, how'd you adapt to it? How'd you sort of mold to it or change with it? Was there a big awkward pause and you're like, and any of your recent, any of your big performances?
Well, actually, just last weekend, we had to sort of adapt midway through the parade. We had to like stop and wait because things weren't ready for us yet at the basilica. So it was not planned at all. Like, you know, you go through all this planning and you never really know how it's going to go on the day. So, but it worked out. You know, we reset and the rest of the parade went great. We were a little colder after waiting longer, but you know,
I'm sure you were
part of the job.
Sure, yeah, just what you need. Just what you need. You already freeze. Uncle Evan, what were you saying?
Yeah, so I want to ask Seb. So because you needed to do a full audition just to join the military, like create your own solo, etc., is that how you started your Spotify account as well? Like, to share your music with everyone because you are already creating a number of solos?
Well, so I'm not really a composer. So the solos that I play are pieces that have been written for the bassoon by composers, by like professional composers. And actually, I've always had a passion for solo recording and solo playing in general. Like, from the day I started playing the bassoon, basically, that's what I really wanted to do. So I actually recorded my first album before joining the military. In December 2019, and ever since then, like, that sort of kickstarted everything. And last year, I released a full-length album. That I applied for a provincial grant, and I was awarded the grant to be able to commission a new piece to be composed for me, and funds to record it as well. So I got to do this full-length album.
How much these funds you speak of?
Nate, are you applying? Like, let's go, man! Come on, we got to do the same. Like, follow in Seb's footsteps. This guy's a genius here.
Pick up the bassoon. That's awesome.
So we it was a $10,000 grant to do this project.
That is incredible! Wow.
Yeah, it's from the Ontario Arts Council, and there's other organizations that also do grants. But I'm very grateful to the Ontario Arts Council for that grant, and so I worked with a composer from Toronto named Frank Horvat. He composed the whole album, and then we recorded it, and yeah. And so the recent
cool.
the most recent release that you're talking about, Ivan, that you saw go up on Spotify, that's one that I actually recorded and engineered myself. Still something composed. Not that I composed, but this time I did it all myself. And it was sort of an experiment at first, and I was so happy with the final product that I decided to go ahead and publish it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just looking at Mark Horvat now. So yeah, he's a pianist, music
Frank
educator.
Horvat. Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
And so you said, so for the non-composers in the chat, you said you had an album and then you had a full-length album. So an album, single song, full-length album, multiple songs?
So actually, the first project that I put out would be considered an EP, which is like it's more than a single, but it's just not quite long enough to be considered a full-length album, which is like 45 minutes to an hour usually. Whereas an EP will be like around 30 minutes or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of music.
Yeah.
So for you to get on Spotify, how difficult was that for you?
Actually, it wasn't very difficult because when I released my first project back in the one that I recorded in 2019, the producer that I was working with got me all set up on this platform that what they do is they specialize in distributing your music to all the different digital streaming services, and you don't pay a cent. They just take 10% of your royalties. That's all they ask for. So
obviously they want you to do good, because then that's obviously how they get paid.
Yeah. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So
these 10,000 you speak of for the grant, where did that go? Like, how do you? I don't really know anything about composing, sending out, producing, whatnot. Where are these where are these fees coming from, and how do you where'd that go? 10,000.
Yeah. So basically, the composer needs to get paid because that's how they make a living. So there's a fee for the composer. There's a fee in our case, like to book the space, the recording space. There's a fee for the sound engineer. There's a basic fee for him to show up, set up his gear, record you, do your session, and then there's the hourly rate for all the engineering that goes into it after the post-production. In my case, there was some of the pieces required a pianist, so there's a fee for hiring a pianist. It goes quick. Goes really quick. There's my fee, my like performing fee that I charge to all the hours I put into preparing the music and actually recording it. There's cost for promotion, cost for the graphic design of the album art. We also, with that project, it was a collaboration with a photographer that does work with Canadian Geographic. So we paid her to be able to use her images for inspiration and also for the album art. So each track is linked to one of her photographs. That's Michelle Valberg. You can look her up. She's from Ottawa, actually. She does incredible work. Yeah.
Nice. Now, I'd imagine nowadays you probably don't get the whole butterflies in the stomach before a performance. And just
honestly,
if you do, it's your secret. It's your secret.
Okay.
Don't let anyone in. But my question is, do you think there was a time where you sort of went from being that like very much a novice position, like you're getting those butterflies and you're like, that you're like choking up almost because of the butterflies, to where you're sort of like, you understand it's a performance, you know that you have to perform, and you can sort of like mentally control and compose? Like, was there a time where you sort of like realize you're like, okay, I'm at that point where I don't really need to panic as much every time I'm about to perform? Or do you think you still sort of get very jittery before? Like,
yeah, so definitely, once I graduated from Western, I finished my bachelor's degree, and I started at Cincinnati. I feel like at Cincinnati, my studies there really it put the polish on my playing and on my confidence. And yeah, so I would say like the transition from my bachelor's degree to finishing my master's was what really took me to that point where, yeah, I felt like I didn't need to panic as much. I had more confidence. I like it sort of it helps you get rid of that sort of imposter syndrome that you get when there's, you know, so much competition. You know, there's so many artists out there. You feel like, you know, am I really up to speed? But that's when I really sort of asserted myself as an artist. However, there is always an element of performance anxiety, and you know, the greatest musicians in the world will tell you that as well. And actually, it's a huge parallel with soccer, and especially as a goalkeeper, like with it being such a mental game. I'm able to use those tools in both fields when it comes to mental performance and performance anxiety.
Yeah, especially as goalie. I mean, one mistake and everyone sees it, right? It's not like if you're a striker, you miss the net, whatever. We all miss the net anyways when we shoot, right? But
it didn't cost a goal.
Magnified when the goalie does it, right?
Yeah, because more often than not, if the goalie makes a mistake, the ball's in the net. Whereas if anybody else on the field, like, you know, a defender might give it away and it causes a goal, but it's more rare for it to result in a goal than when it comes to the goalkeeper. So
yeah. Now, were you goalkeeper in Cincinnati and Western as well?
Actually, no. When I was at Western, I kind of took most of that time off of competitive sports.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So and really dug deep, and I think that was really important. Because I started pretty late. I switched instruments pretty late. I used to play the clarinet, and I was actually going to start my performance degree at Western on clarinet. And 6 months before I was supposed to start, I decided to try the bassoon. Just yeah, it was kind of crazy. So, and as soon as I tried it, I basically never looked back because I fell in love with the instrument and it just felt like it was the right instrument for me.
Now, do you find, right on, what do you do for mental prep before a performance, before you show up, before you got to play? What do you do? Is there a song you go through? Is there like a bunch of specific movements that you strictly keep to every time that you're getting ready or getting warmed up?
Not so much. I would say that the mental prep before a performance, the biggest thing, it happens in the practice room in the weeks leading up to the performance. Practicing in a way that I feel confident with the material that I'm going to perform, and that is the biggest help for me. Because if I have confidence in the practice room, I know that I can go out there and execute it. The biggest thing on performance day is to not over warm up, over practice. You know, that's the biggest trap you can fall into, because it's, you know, you're stressed. You want to make sure all those tough licks are under your fingers, and you know, so you'll like run through them 50 times before the performance. Next thing you know, when you go to actually perform, you're dead tired. Because with the adrenaline, you don't realize how much you've actually over-warmed up.
Interesting. Now,
so the biggest thing, actually, if I were to put mental prep into a routine before a performance, it would be to relax and not overdo it. Take it easy.
Interesting. Completely different take from sports, like to an extent, I guess, right? Like, because you really got to make sure you're properly warmed up, but that's different entirely. So when did the goalkeeping come in? So you're focusing on your music, and being a musician is your primary focus. And then when did the sports start creeping back in, or were they always there? Like you said, they took a backseat for a while, and then how come they sort of came back in?
Yeah, so they were always there. From a young age, I started playing soccer as a little kid. Basically, always wanted to be the goalkeeper, and also played hockey as a goalie. And so I would do, hockey in the winter, soccer in the summer, growing up every year, basically. And so after high school, I was going to start a music degree right away, but I got an offer to go play soccer out west at Lakeland College. So I went there. It's in Lloydminster. It's a border town between Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Okay.
So they play in the ACAC, the Alberta Collegiate Athletic Conference, I think it stands for. Anyways, So played one season. Then we were about to start futsal, and I destroyed my ankle.
Ooh.
And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go back home and start fresh. So, through recovering from that injury, I really dove deep into the music. And I decided to go back to Western. They were going to honor my audition from the previous year on clarinet, like I had said. And then, of course, that's when I decided to switch to the bassoon. I had to re-audition. So I switched to the bassoon in January, did an audition in March. It wasn't the greatest audition, but they had no other bassoon players coming in. So
default.
Yes, you're in. So, from that moment on, that was like, I got lucky there, but then I really had to buckle down and focus to catch up, and then, even try to surpass my peers. So that's what the biggest reason why sports took a back burner. In my last year at Western, I started getting the itch actually to play hockey again. So started playing hockey, at first just for fun, and then I was like, okay, feels like I still do this. So I started training again with the goalie coach that I was training with before, and I used to use this recruiting website for like colleges in the U.S. and stuff for coaches to see you, and you post highlight videos or you post your stats and stuff. And so I just refreshed that profile, basically indicating that I'm active and willing to take a spot somewhere. So out of nowhere, the coach from Cincinnati, the hockey team there, contacts me. And so it's like, hey, we don't have that many goalies out here that have like junior hockey experience, especially not like in Canada. So he was a Canadian, so he sort of knew what the standards were in Canada for junior hockey.
Anywho, yeah. So let's finish off. We're gonna sort of start pushing towards CISM and where CISM falls into your, especially your, personal life, because I know that there is sort of a fitness standard that we all have to maintain for that.
Yeah. Actually, like what I was saying is getting to that pretty soon.
Yeah. So you got into Cincinnati for your master's on the merit of your hockey.
Yeah, so, well, first it was the connection with the coach, and then I got in touch with the music department, sent them my resume, sent them a recording of a recital that I had just played, my graduating recital. So the music school accepted me based on my music credentials, and then actually I still had to go through the tryouts when I started school. So it wasn't for sure, but I ended up making the team. We did really well. So my second year, we were top in the top 4 in the nation. So it was just an incredible experience. And then of course, so I graduated. Pandemic hits, and one of the first things to open up was soccer when it came to sports, because it's outside. So that's really what gave me the push to go back to soccer. And once I started, I just went full steam ahead. Never looked back, never played hockey after that, actually. Just have been really focusing on soccer, and it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
So Seb, with the CISM camp, like I know it's a little easier in my opinion for a player just pick up a ball and train by himself, go to the park. But how does a goalie train by himself? Like, do you just go to a wall and smash the ball at yourself and like try and dive?
So I got this awesome gadget. It's a soccer ball, like full-size soccer ball, connected to a 40-foot elastic.
Okay.
Like it's a sturdy elastic, like it's wrapped with anyways, and connected to a sandbag. And so, well, I put weights in the bag, like just plates inside of it. And when you boot that thing, it comes back at you basically at the same force that you put into it. So basically, I've been able to come up with all sorts of drills that mimic game situations.
That's pretty cool.
And I'll incorporate a ladder in there, do like some agility exercises, and then go up and kick the ball, make the save. Do a whole circuit thing. That's basically what I did. In the off season between this past summer and our competition in Ireland and the UK was just
awesome.
Out there on my own, working like that.
So it was, now to my understanding, it was Nate, it was your first time with the CISM camp as well, and Seb, it was your first time as well on an actual tournament overseas, correct?
Yeah, because the camp in Esquimalt or Victoria was just like a training camp with some exhibition games against like a local university and local semi-pro team. Yeah.
So let's dive back into that a little bit to both yourself as well, Nate. Like, what did you learn from your trip in both Ireland and England? How do you think the games went? Coaching, team camaraderie, everything. Like, what were your thoughts from the trip overall, Nate?
Personally, for me, it was embarrassing as hell. I'm not gonna lie, it's humiliating.
Why is that?
Out here I play Division 4. It's nothing. There's no glory in Div 4, right? It's not some Div 1, Div 2 play. And I thought I was like pretty good, but I would go out there and then I step on that field against the Irish in the first game. I was like, wow, I've never felt so helpless in my life on a soccer field. It was a whole other tier of play that I don't think any of us could have prepared for unless we're like actually in a league at that high level, right? So it's definitely absolutely shocking. Bringing a whole squad of people from all over Canada together and putting them on a field and telling them to play together, that was a very different experience. And like it definitely took a long time to start building up. I think the first game was an absolute mess because we had no idea how to play with each other. By the third game, the Academy game, I think you started on that one, didn't you, Seb?
That was the last one against the UK Armed Forces team.
Okay. Yeah. No, that game against the Academy team was probably our best game out of them all, I think.
Man, we looked good that game.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in total the trip was fantastic. I thought it was so cool being able to go and do something like that. But I think that that start was a rough start getting going those first two games.
None of the guys really played together. We had one or two practices before that game.
Not even.
It's
right.
Yeah, not even, and that's a really tough team. But obviously, the longer we're with the program, the more we'll play together, et cetera, et cetera. And we just have to bite the bullet. Canada's so big, that's how it's going to go, right? We get the best players from the best bases, and then we get together for those 2 weeks, and we got to figure it out. The U.S. is in the same boat, right? So we got no excuse. We got to just keep on training.
100%. No, 100%.
When we get together, we got to have some fun.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sab, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna just add to that. Going into Ireland, the Ireland game, half the guys got in the night before the game, so jet lag is a huge factor there.
Yeah,
and I think if you consider all those things, we gave them a good fight.
100%.
Yeah, they were definitely on another level, but we showed them that we can ball with them ultimately.
You know what though? It was I was even rewatching the game yesterday. It was just little things our control could have got better, or we could have gone one or two less touches on the ball, and then just a little quicker on decision making. And we're there, fitness wise, we're there, skill wise, we're there. It's more just a decision making that we can improve on, and that's, in my opinion, not too hard of a thing that we can work on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, preparation for it, how long were you guys preparing for that tournament?
Basically, from the moment I heard about it, which was at
when was that for you? Yeah, when was that for you? I think
the first time I heard about it was at the Esquimalt training camp.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's when they dropped the information that it was going to happen. So this would have been back in March 2023. Nice. So basically, that sort of set the tone for the work rate at the camp. And then afterwards, I just sort of kept going. Actually, near the end of the camp, I dislocated my finger, which slowed me down, but only for a couple weeks. And then I was back on the field. I, even played the whole preseason in April and May, so it was from that moment on, basically 6 months, of preparation, either with my civvy teams, with the base team, or on my own, like I said, with my different training aids and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the gym, obviously.
Yeah.
And cardio and all that fun stuff. With all the domain testing, it's a great way to gauge how you're progressing, not only with your technique and your skill, but with your fitness as you're going along. So I thought it was great that we had regular domain testing in 2 or 3 month increments leading up to it.
Yeah, keep on your toes.
Glad, how long were you preparing for it? Did you hear about it in that training camp as well, or?
No, I heard about it late, but I was training for 2 years straight because I was doing the boxing, right? So then this came up, so I was like, perfect. I'm playing soccer all the time anyways. I'm exercising anyway, so it works out fine. I'm playing all the time with Seb in the with the Croatian team in the competitive league here in Ottawa, which is very high level.
So, you guys are on the same team?
Yeah, we play together. We have fun. So that's why we were always chilling together on the flights, on the bus rides. Yeah, we play together during the summertime here.
No, and with the base team as well.
And with the base team, and our Ottawa team has to win this year.
Oh my goodness!
I was about to ask, man. I was about to ask. I heard Trenton is going to be one of your contenders.
Well, actually, we don't play regionals.
Well, first we got to make nationals.
We play
Yeah.
You don't
regionals
play
with the
regionals
Quebec
with-
teams.
Ottawa plays with the Quebec teams, not the Ontario teams.
Yeah,
Because
there's way
Quebec
too
only
many
has
Ontario
3 teams. So they want to make it a little bit more challenging for the Quebec team, so they added us because we're right beside them on the
And we
board.
have Gatineau in our NCR region, so we're like semi-Quebec already.
Yeah, because we have a lot of French people on our team as well, because we're like the French area of Ontario, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's dope. And then where'd the little ones squeeze into there, Seb?
Sorry,
Because
the little ones.
yeah, you still managed to squeeze time for those ones. I know Uncle Ivan's got 3 running around.
Yeah,
You got a
he knows
couple
all
as
about
well.
it. It's as much as I can. I mean, it's
One,
the most
2, 3
important
of them?
thing is to try and balance your family life with, first of all, your work, and then if you add all this other stuff on the side, it makes it difficult. And at one time that was a big problem for me, actually. I wasn't finding that balance, and in the past
That's the hardest
year, though,
part.
it has improved, and my level of fitness actually hasn't suffered for it. It's only gotten better because I think I'm just in a much better place mentally when I prioritize time with my family more often.
But you know what, Seb? That's good, man, because that's very difficult. Because you'll see, like, as soon as more of your friends start having kids, you're gonna see their priorities obviously go to their kids, and then we don't exercise as much because we're going to the kids' activities and etc. So, like, congratulations, man. That's not an easy thing to do, especially making the men's national team at that level with your family commitments as well, man. So good on you.
Now, do you think that, like, you're a reservist musician, or are you reg force musician?
Reg Force, yeah, it's my full-time job.
Now, where does that balance comes in? Like, you're 8 to 4, I'm gonna assume, and then like 3-4 nights out of the week you get to stay home and spend time with them, because you're still training a lot of the time outside of that, right? Or do you train at home a lot, or like how have you adjusted for that during the week?
We have time in our work schedule where we're expected to devote to fitness. So that's really the only way that I can do it. That's been the biggest help for me, is to be able to utilize the gym at work, or just that time in general to go for a run or do my workout, and then I can still finish work at the same time, go home to the family, and not work out at night, or I might still have 1 or 2 nights where there's a soccer game or there's a soccer practice, but then the other nights don't have to be cluttered with workouts and runs and all sorts of things.
Okay, so you also primarily focus on cardio by the sounds of it for a lot of your training, yeah?
Well, I try to do basically 50-50.
Okay.
So,
okay.
For
a goalie, that's good too. Usually goalies are like, I don't have to do it.
Well, I've always been I'm a lanky guy, right? So I've always been a decent runner, and I enjoy it. So I usually do 2 cardio workouts, 2 strength workouts per week.
Okay.
My 2 cardio workouts, one will be like a long distance run. The other will be like interval training. So like sprint for 12 seconds, rest for 30 kind of thing. Repeat that 10 times, take a break, do it again.
Sprint on what? Track? You got a track?
Usually a treadmill. It makes it really easy to time. So you like set the speed really high, time your sprint for 10 or 12 seconds or more, however you want, and then bring the speed back down to your jogging pace for the rest of the minute, and then do that sprint again. But you can also do it on a track, or it'd be kind of hard to do it like just going for a run on the street, because you
just break
got
into random sprints
intersections,
here.
you got all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
a track or the treadmill is what I would use for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So Nate, question for you, because
Here.
how much did you train for this for the national tournament that we had? Like you were saying 5-6 days a week you were training, no?
See, now what was crazy is like I didn't know anything about Ireland until nationals, pretty well until just after nationals, right in September. So, but the whole year before that, I was training for Edmonton because I wanted to beat Edmonton in the final. That was like my goal. I was like, okay, we just need to get like Edmonton's gonna be the finals at regional. And all I was envisioning and manifesting was like trying to be able to score on against Edmonton. That's all I cared about for like the 8 months or whatever preparing. And then we go to regionals and the nationals, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to Ireland later this year." I was like, "Shit!" So and then it was like training went into overdrive, and then it was injury, and then training a bit more, and then shit, we're gone. Now we're flying. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it crept up on me. Like I felt like I was so ill prepared for that tournament. Like I didn't train enough at all for that.
So what would you do differently if, like, let's say, well, rumor is that the Olympics is coming up 2025 next year.
I don't know if they're Olympics, and that's what I was.
I think it's the World Cup. It's the World Cup this time.
The World
actual,
Cup.
like,
Okay,
World Cup
the
of
World
football.
Cup.
Okay,
So,
okay, is that what it is?
Rumor is World Cup of football, military teams. Let's say tomorrow you get the verification. Hey, Nate, we're going to put in a team, top 25 guys from Canada going. What's your training schedule going to look like moving forward?
Well, first I'm going to slow down on smoking so much weed, and then I'll be skipping is actually something you really inspired me to look into and start training more of. So a lot of assault biking, skipping, cardio is definitely going to be a big one, but explosiveness is a big one as well. Like being really shifty side to side. I think that's going to be a much sought after competency.
You'll see with skipping that just comes so naturally.
Yeah.
Once you do that,
yeah,
like,
you're super light on your feet.
Jumping side to side, it'll help you be a lot lighter on your feet. You'll be a lot better. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, what else? Like, what else are you gonna do? Like the Olympics come and gold. Are you training like every single day for that gold, or like how serious are you taking it? Like
swimming is gonna be a big one actually, because I do want to. Like, I don't know about you guys. I was actually gonna ask you, Seb, after this one. I cross train a lot into different sports as well. So swimming, snorkeling, I guess rucking if that is a thing, or hiking if that's a sport as well. Biking as well. I do a bunch of biking, right? So. I think that's really good for power. But squash for reaction time, swimming for cardio and all round physical health, right? Like, that's sort of my spread right now. But I do that's how I stay relatively fit, is like hopping between multiple sports. So like if this one's if soccer's killing my ankles, which it does, then I switch over to other sports, and try to like balance out my pain, right? But yeah. Do any of you use cross train? Like, I know you do boxing, Ivan, but Seb?
I play hockey as well. So like I got one of those super dekers in the basement now that we have a hockey tournament for the reservist regiments here in 2 weeks So I'm practicing on that super deker because I haven't been on the ice all year. I've just been training for soccer, right? So now it's like, hey, we got to go. We got to train for the sport. But it definitely helps, especially like example with boxing. You understand how to relax your muscles a lot easier. And then once you understand how to relax your muscles, then you never get tired. Then you're running, and then when you start running in soccer, you're realizing, why am I running so tense? I'm gassing myself out, and then it just helps you understand different games of the aspects from a different angle, and I think it helps you. So that's how it is for me in that example. Yeah.
I guess I am always tightened up. That makes sense. How about you there, Seth?
That was the biggest issue I found for myself.
Yeah.
I was always tight, but now that I'm understand how to be a little looser, it's a game changer. with
Yeah, no,
feints and
100%.
everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Go ahead.
I don't actually do much like cross training. I don't really play like lately. I haven't really been playing other sports.
Mm-hmm.
However, playing my instrument can almost be like a sport. It's a
I guess
huge
so.
like cardio thing actually. Like a few months ago, I played a 1 hour solo recital, and I was gassed as if I had gone for a 10K run. So there's that aspect of it, but also on top of my like fitness stuff, I really try to focus on technical things when it comes to goalkeeping. So like I will spend lots of time just working on my touch, with both feet to make quick passes, things like that, or work on the same diving technique over and over again, with my gadget that I was telling you about. Short dives to like, if I have to dive across the net and try to get a ball top corner, like it allows me to work on that whole range. And because everything is it's such like a quick reflex position. I spend a lot of time working on sharpening technique. That's a
Quick question
huge
there,
prep
Seth.
for competition for me is technique stuff.
Have you ever tried those VR goggles? So like I got those VR goggles and like you pretend to be a goalie and like
Dude, I would love
working
that.
on your reaction time. Have you tried any of those
I
games?
have
Like
not, but I
what's
would
your opinion?
love to try that.
Okay, all right. Next I'll try to bring it next practice and then
Yeah.
I
All
want to
right.
know your opinion because
Yeah, I would love to give that a try.
one of the games is there's someone shooting, but there's a bunch of cones or whatever's in front of you, and it hits it, and it goes in another direction right away. And you got to dive, so it's pretty cool. I wanted to check your opinion on it, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wanted to now finish off with the last subject on the Carleton tournament. So I wanted to know your opinion on how do you think, let's say, the round robin went first, and then we'll talk a little bit more on the playoffs. And just overall, Seb, I want to know your opinion. And Nate, if you have anything, please add.
Okay. Yeah. So
like
again,
first game, let's start off with Carleton. How do you think that game against Carleton? So they're the huge favorites coming in. We're big underdogs, and we come out fighting. What did you think? What are your thoughts on that game?
I think we did extremely well against those guys. Like, because this is a team that was top in Ontario, got far in nationals. Like, this is a top tier university varsity team. So, and again, it's the same scenario, right? We're flying in from all over the place, getting together the day of, talking tactics quickly with the coach, do a quick warm up, and that's it. Like, you're in it, right? So I think, so I didn't play that game, but from the sidelines, you guys looked sharp. Like, your decision making was quick. You guys were keeping up with those guys. I mean, Wes saved your butts like 6 times, but still, like, other than that, you guys were really keeping up with those boys. Game. So I mean, and Wes is a beast. Like he made some crazy saves that game.
That was awesome. So what do you think now after playing that first game? You see, okay, we played a little bit more defensively. We our formation was good. Wes was a rock. Nothing could get past him. Now, from seeing that game, moving on to the second game, how do you think we made those adjustments to score some more goals? And overall, what do you think your opinion was?
Our defensive shape was even more solid the second game. Like, they still got a few opportunities, but not nearly as many as against Carleton. And the communication was great. And seeing the first game from the sidelines gave me an idea of how the defenders like to play the ball back there, use the keeper or when they like to use the keeper or not. So that helped me go into it sort of more prepared than I would have been going in cold on Friday. So, and of course, you know, we had the big goal to go ahead and win the game. So
That's
that was
right.
huge.
Patty scored that nice bicycle kick too.
Yeah.
Yeah. To win it 1-0.
2 bikes, 1 tournament?
2 bikes, 1 tournament.
Yeah, well, his was like a side volley.
Yeah, okay.
Ivan's was like completely vertical. Like, yeah, unreal.
I know Seb was watching. I had to impress him, you know?
My gosh.
I wish you got that on video.
I know. I don't think we did, though. I thought we did, but I don't think we did.
So for me personally, like going into it, I mean, there's always a little bit of anxiety going into a tournament like that because I have a lot of respect for the CISM guys, for the level of skill that they have, and I want to match that level of competition. I want to show up and do them justice, you know. So I put that pressure on myself, but it also, I think it also inspired me to reach a new level of just focus and actually put away that anxiety, because it's like, no, like you gotta perform for the guys. You gotta be in it for the guys. You can't let you know, doubts or anything.
And how many times did I tell you, like, who cares if you make a mistake? We all make mistakes. Otherwise, we'd be professionals, and we still make mistakes.
And the guys are always so supportive, and I'm grateful for that because, you know, I've been on teams where it's not like that. So
but I mean, when you get older, I mean, we get it. Like, we're all going to make mistakes. It's not going to be beneficial to myself, you, or the team if I'm yelling at you when you make a mistake. We're not going to make one the next 10 seconds anyways, right? So so it's better we just cheer each other on and help each other make a better decision next time, and that's it.
Yeah, and it was a great feeling to come out of the round robin with 2 clean sheets, and Wes getting 2 clean sheets as well. Like, it just felt like we went in there, awesome. We did exactly what we needed to do, and qualified for the semis.
What do you think we can do next year to win it? So, in my opinion, fitness-wise in there is there. Technical-wise is there. It's maybe the chemistry, maybe working a little together more, even when we're at regionals or nationals, just getting some of the guys together, have a little practice or something. I don't know, just thinking outside the box here. But the more we get together, the better we're going to be, really.
Absolutely. And, you know, the thing that I think affected us the most in the semifinal was we let ourselves get a little more frustrated and worked up over different things that were happening in the game. That didn't really happen in other games, but we started like we were getting foul.
Give me an example. What happened?
I'm not saying that the calls were all bang on, but we started to sort of spiral downwards with the fouls against us, or sorry, against the other team, and giving them opportunities, free kicks. You know, it just gives them possession all the time. And in the other games, it felt like we were a lot more disciplined. And I think that comes also with what you said, fitness. Like, I think it started to hit us in that last game where we were having a little bit more trouble keeping up. And that little fraction of a second less that we had on the other team, where we started to make those decisions to go in for those challenges that were maybe a little too late or a little too risky.
Right.
And I think that is really, from the sidelines, to me, that is what looked like made the most difference. Like, you could see the frustration.
Yeah.
So I think other than skill-wise, it wasn't a skill thing. It wasn't a skill thing. It wasn't a tactics thing. To me, it was just a mental thing.
Now, do you think your Carleton tournament team would have taken the team that we put up for the I2I Academy. Do you think that was a fair match, or do you think that the I2I Academy might have been able to beat that Carleton team?
You know what?
The
We didn't have
Carleton
enough
varsity
guys
team?
to field the full. We didn't have enough guys to field the full 11.
Are you
That was
talking
against-
about the Carleton varsity team or our team at the Carleton
I was
tournament?
thinking, I was saying the CISM team that played at the Carleton tournament. Do you think that they could have taken the I2I team that we put up against the
Yeah.
or like
Oh,
the
yeah.
team that we
Yeah,
had?
for sure. I mean, some of the guys, a bunch of the
100%.
guys were in Ireland,
Yep.
and we had guys like Patty. I don't know if you've met him.
Pacheco?
Patrick, yeah, Pacheco.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen him
He
yet.
is like a pillar of the CISM program, and like
He's good, but he got injured again.
he did, but during the round robin, he was
he's a good
huge for
player.
us. And so
He was
we
great.
had some core guys already there, plus guys that didn't make it to Ireland but were back in action at the Carleton tournament. So I think we would have taken them.
Was Ben Ingoran there?
Ben was there, yeah.
Not at the Carleton tournament. No,
Alpha.
no. Ryan Pittman.
Or sorry,
no.
Billy.
Billy, yeah.
Billy was there. Sabados was playing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
You guys had a decent
Pittman
squad, yeah.
from out east was there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met Pittman. Oh wait, yeah, I have. He was a center back on Halifax during our nationals, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So
he
yeah,
was
we
tough.
had a really
He
good
was
group of guys.
He was tough to get by, guys.
Yeah, he's
Holy
solid.
crap. Yeah. No, he was a good side. But anywho, Uncle Evan, what do you think? Pretty well closing her up by now, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys, but Olympics might be coming, or the World Cup games, boys. What are you guys doing? You guys train every day? Like, what's the plan? What are we doing here?
I hope all three of us get to rendezvous in Azerbaijan next year. That would be something.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, first we got to win regionals. So Seb and I are going to be on the Ottawa team. Hopefully, we'll see in is it Borden the nationals, Seb, this year?
I don't think it's announced yet, but it's always Borden, pretty much.
Yeah,
So it's Borden. And the rumor is it might be Ottawa for the regionals again this year, just because Borden or it's supposed to be Bagville, but I don't think they can do it. So it will be a little bit advantage to us anyway. So
okay, home field advantage, Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. Hopefully we see you, Nate. Or are you going on course soon, or you might not make it?
That's another. Right now I got a little bit up in the air, but I just sent out my TOR for regionals now, so I hope that they'll be able. Because I'm supposed to be finishing my training over the next couple months, and then getting loaded onto my course, my fives course. So I don't know. If, there's no guarantees yet that I'm going to be coming out yet. So
yeah,
I think I'll be able to make it. Go on.
That's a crazy thing about a military team. Like, it can be completely different next year with deployments and injuries or whatever's going on, and going to a new team or a base. So it'll be interesting. So.
It's exciting.
We hope to see you at Nationals then, Nate.
Hi.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Keep Seb on his toes, Uncle Clive.
That's it.
Expect a couple big saves next year there, Seb. I almost called you Uncle Seb.
Seb's going to keep a shutout all year.
Alrighty, but yeah, thank you so much for coming out, Seb. I wish we had Steve as well with us, but we had a lot to unpack tonight there, Seb. I'm really happy that, your very diverse background between being a musician, a father, and a soccer player gave us a lot of different avenues to explore your life from. But, Uncle Ivan?
And Seb, please tell us your closing notes, how we can follow you, how we can listen to your music on Spotify. Tell us how we can be fans of Seb.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's an honor. It's been a pleasure. Love you guys. So yeah, like Ivan said, you can find my music on all the streaming platforms, whether you prefer Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, you name it. It's on everything. So yeah, so there's that. You can find me on social media on Instagram, Seb_Mallette. I'm usually posting about whatever's coming up, whether it's a concert, a recording, soccer stuff, CISM stuff. So, yeah.
That's so cool. One last question. Serious question. So you have that streaming platform. How many times do people have to listen to that for you to quit your day job? When will it be enough income where you're like, you know what? I'm just going to play at home all day, put a little music on Spotify and call it a day.
Literally never. Like, you have to be Taylor Swift or Drake, or like,
okay, then
you have to be getting like millions of streams per day.
Okay, so it's not that easy to make money then. So you're still pretty much, when you post it, you're just doing it for your enjoyment and anyone else's. It's not really for the money game then.
Yeah, it's a passion project.
That's pretty cool, man. Good for you.
Yeah. But I'm blessed to be able to make a living doing what I do as well with the Canadian Forces.
Amazing. And, I know.
I get to be a professional musician, so I still get that fulfillment every day. It's amazing.
And you play soccer all day. Soccer, musician. Hands down. Yeah. Man, you got a good life, brother. You got a good life.
Yeah.
All right.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks again for your time, Seb.
Anything on Instagram? How can we follow you on Instagram, Twitter, anything else?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Seb.
Next year, gentlemen. Next year. Azerbaijan 2025.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we'll see you at Nationals there, Nate.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. All season starts. Cheers. Have a good night.
All right. See you, brother.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all were a little bit inspired to take a swing at maybe different sports, maybe even picking up an instrument, because I keep on wanting to pick up an instrument, but I just can't, man. But like, this guy, he knows his stuff, and a bit of an inspiration on the musical competency side of life. Now, stay tuned as we start preparing for more upcoming competitions. Keep on training, keep on dreaming, and you better keep on sweating, because it's going to matter when it matters. Until next time, folks.